All right, so I'm going to show you how to create a custom view style that you can use for diagrams and other views in Rhino. So I'm in shaded view here. The first thing I'm going to do is set the view. So if I've been toggling around, under properties, I've set this to 2-point perspective, but obviously this could be anything. If you want this to be parallel, maybe we want more of an axonometric view, we can go into parallel view. I'm going to hide this wall, Control H, and set a view that I like. Use Control and right click to zoom a little bit more precisely, set the view that I want. And then I'm going to save this view. If you don't already have named views in your docked panel over here, I'm just going to go right click on this and go down to set view and go to named views, and that's going to show up. I've docked it to the right here. And then I'm going to save this. We'll call this Axon. So I've now saved this view. So if I'm working, I can always double click and get back to it. I'm currently in shaded view in Rhino. So I want to edit this and create my own kind of more diagrammatic, maybe slight ambient occlusion rendered view. So I do want to show line work, but have a kind of more clean view than this. So I'm going to right click this, go down to display options, and clicking on display options, I have the ability to either create a new one or I can duplicate one of the existing ones that I have here. So I'm going to start with Arctic and copy that and modify it, because Arctic View has kind of an ambient occlusion shading style to it already that I like. So I'm going to click on that, click copy. So that just created a copy of Arctic View, which I can rename. So I can click on the name of this and we'll say diagrams 2. So I've made a number of these in the past. For the background, we can set that to be a solid color. I'm going to set that to white. Just leave that as is. I could also set it to be transparent. So if I'm exporting a PNG that I want to have a transparent background, that would be the thing to do. I can choose if I want my ground plane on, or if I just want the shadow created on the ground plane to be there. Different settings for the type of kind of workflow and renders here. I'm not going to play with all of that. How you want to shade the objects, that's going to get selected here. So I want my objects to be shaded, and I'm not going to make any special exceptions for backface settings. So the kind of backside of a surface, I want that to read the same as the front. I don't want ISO curves. Curves, yes, although all of these are considered edges of these poly surfaces or these B-wraps, so that's not really affected here. But if I did have line work, you know, just lines that I wanted to show, I'm selecting that. This is set to ambient occlusion. I can play around with this. We can change it to different things. I'm going to go into this new view that we created in Rhino just to kind of see where we are. So I'm going to right click here and you'll see this new view that we created, diagrams 2. You'll see that shows up here. Okay, so this is kind of where we are now. I want to start editing this and see the updates in real time. So right clicking again. If I go to objects, again, I'm in diagram 2. If I go to objects, under surfaces, I want to change the edge so that I can see the line work. I can see the edge of each of these geometries. So under surface edge settings, I'm going to say give me an edge thickness of 1. And now you can see that the line work shows up here. So now I'm seeing the edge. I think 2 is a little too diagrammatic for our views. I'll leave it. It's somewhere between that 1 and 2. You can't really affect this with decimals, so really be nice to be somewhere in between that. Surface edge settings, again, I'm not making any exceptions here. Curves, you could change that as well if you wanted all of your curves to be kind of an override color. You can do that as well. I can give these a different color as well. I can say use single color. If we wanted to change that, we could. Okay, but I'm going to leave this black. And going back to kind of the overall settings, scrolling down, you'll see that our lighting method is scene lighting. This is what ambient occlusion looks like, default lighting. And we can still go in and change the shadows, for example. Let's say this is too dramatic. We can say shadow intensity. We can bring that down a lot. We can change the shadow color as well. I would set these to maximum if this is a view that we're outputting. Set the quality of these to be a lot higher. So if you have transparent objects, glass for example, and you want to have that show up in a nice way, set those to kind of the higher settings. So there's other settings you can play with here. Again, object. So anything that you want to change, again, you're going to see it in real time here, but you can kind of play around with which view makes the most sense. I've brought down my shadows significantly, so now these views look a little different. If I go back to shadows, play with this, I can affect how intense those shadows show up. And again, you're going to have a different, set of parameters. You have, maybe an exterior view versus interior. But I think as an overall view, this is pretty good. And again, it depends on kind of how cartoon-like you want your drawing to be. That's no lighting, so it kind of eliminates the actual surface itself. But so scene lighting, you can actually affect a light and shadow. You can move that in your Rhino scene and it'll affect this. Again, I think this is a little too thick for my preference, so I'm going to go to surfaces and bring this back down to 1. And I'll show you how to do a make 2D and overlay that in Illustrator too. So you can really, if you wanted to set this to 0 and just rely on your actual line work to set that, you can do that as well. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just going to leave that at 1. So when I'm happy with this view, and again, I've now called this diagram too, so anytime I want to get back to this, as long as you save this file, you'll be able to play with these settings and have this as an option when you open up Rhino. So these are good settings to save for future projects. So I have this view that I like. I'm going to right click and go to capture to file. And I've upped this a lot so that it doesn't show up pixelated. I've set this to a transparent background. And I'm going to hit OK. calling that axon. And now I also want to export this as line work as well. So I want to be able to take that line work into Illustrator and further edit the line weights there. Let's say I wasn't happy with this. I can also do that. So I'm going to take this model, select it, and type make 2D. And it'll create a projection of that 3D geometry flat on the C-plane, which I'm going to move over, go back into shaded view for this portion, and I'm going to go into top view. This was top view at one point. So I have this, and I'm going to select that. Now that I'm in top view, type export, and I'm going to export it as an Illustrator file. And I'm going to open up Illustrator. This is a diagram that I just worked on, again, adding a person for scale. This kind of shows the final result. So I've brought in the line work, overlay that on top of my 3D view, and then used live paint to infill the color as kind of an accent in this diagram. So I can go to File, Open. I'm going to open up my axon and the axon line work that I just created. So I have the PNG here. And again, you can see that it's transparent because there's no kind of background here. There's no geometry. Fit that to my artboard in Illustrator. And I do have light lines, which are pretty nice, but let's say I wanted to add an accent color to this in Illustrator. You could also do that in Rhino. I'm, not precluding that, but I can select the line work in my other file, go back to this. Oh wait, that's not, yeah, that'll work. All right, so I'm gonna create a new layer, lock the original, Control V to paste. And when I did this make 2D, it grabbed everything. So I'm going to have to kind of crop this. So now it's just about getting this scale to be accurate. All right, that looks good. So when I export this, I'll make sure to export it and crop the with artboard. So that's just something I'll have to keep in mind later because I have line work that's extending beyond that. All right, so with this, I've again locked my background image, which I can hide if needed, to select everything on this layer. And this is unlocked, so I can work on it. I can select this circle here. This will select everything. It'll select all the line work on that layer. And if I'm happy with this line weight, right now it's at 1. So if I wanted to change the line weights, I can change that here, 0.75. I can select this and go to Object, Live Paint, Make. And so now this is all editable kind of fills. So normally your toolbar will show Shape Builder here. To access the Live Paint bucket, just hold down on the Shape Builder and then find this Live Paint bucket. The shortcut for this is K. All right, so if I wanted to, let's say, add an accent color, let's say I want to grab that color from this previous diagram. I'll just copy that and paste it. So I'm going to take this color and use that for my infill. So again, just as a kind of diagram. So you can individually click like this. If you have a lot of things to fill at once, you can click and control drag and it'll infill all of that. I don't know if I want to do that here because it's infilling the edge. So I'm just going to individually grab each of these. So this is a more diagrammatic way to show a perspective without trying to go into too much realism. This can be an effective technique to represent these graphics. Okay, so to export this as an image, I would go to File, Export, Export As, and I'll export it as a JPEG. And make sure to check Use Artboards because I had line work extending beyond it. All right, so I could export it as a JPEG or PNG. So this is the image we just output. So some other things that I could do if I wanted to accentuate these edges, I would play with the line weights a little bit. I tend to do that before I go into live paint because once you live paint it, it kind of flattens things, puts things on one layer. So that's something just to be aware of. If you have different line weights on different layers, do that before you go into before you live paint it. All right. Hopefully that's going to be helpful for your diagrams.